No one is ever truly too busy. People simply make time for what matters most to them. That's why you might message someone and never get a reply. Yet they're still watching videos, scrolling social media, or chatting with others. In a world full of noise, this truth can sting, but it also teaches you something essential. Never make yourself a backup option in someone else's life. Watch what people do, not just what they say. If someone truly values you, they'll find time for you. No excuses. The same principle applies to your own life. You don't lack time, you lack clear priorities. Each morning you're given 24 hours, just like every other person on this planet. What you choose to do with that time determines who you become. Instead of hoping for a harvest, ask yourself, what are you planting? You can't reap results where you've never sown effort. Discipline is the invisible force that separates dreamers from doers. It's that quiet inner voice reminding you to push past comfort, to show up even when no one is watching. Real success doesn't come from one grand act. It comes from the small, repeated choices you make each day, like studying instead of scrolling, waking up instead of hitting snooze, saying no to distraction and yes to growth. Discipline is also your kindest refusal, the refusal to let your lazy self win. It gives you a kind of freedom from regret, from drifting aimlessly, from looking back and saying, I wish I had. Because if you don't set discipline for yourself, life will impose it on you through failure, missed chances, and the pain of knowing you could have done more. And above all, remember this: no one else will prioritize you unless you learn to prioritize yourself first. In a world obsessed with attention, one of the greatest acts of strength is choosing silence. Not every thought needs to be shared. Not every success needs to be broadcast. Sometimes keeping things to yourself is the most powerful thing you can do. If something brings you peace, let it live quietly. If you're building something important, let your progress be your proof. Oversharing, even with the best intentions, often invites unnecessary noise, judgment, envy, unsolicited opinions, or worse, sabotage disguised as advice. That's why peace thrives in privacy. Protecting your energy means recognizing that not everyone needs to know everything about you. Be careful who you trust. Remember, salt and sugar look the same. Not everyone who smiles at you has your best interests at heart. Sometimes, the people closest to you, the ones you think will support you, are the first to pull you down or secretly wish for your failure. That's why your circle should be small, your boundaries firm, and your trust earned, not given. You don't need a crowd to feel whole. Learn to enjoy your own company. If you always need others to feel happy, you hand them power over your peace. People change, even the ones you thought would stay forever. Your best friends today could become strangers tomorrow. It's painful, but it's also liberating. Once you stop depending on others to complete you, you become complete on your own. Silence, too, can be a response. You don't need to react to everything. When people mistreat you, when they try to provoke you, respond with silence. Cutting someone off doesn't always require confrontation. Sometimes the strongest statement is to simply walk away, quietly. No drama, no explanation. Don't waste your energy trying to prove yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. The truth is, people judge no matter what. So be who you want to be, not who they expect. When you protect your peace, you stop living for validation and start living in alignment. In the end, peace of mind is more valuable than proving a point. Guard your energy like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. One of life's toughest truths is this: holding on can hurt more than letting go. We often cling to people out of habit, history, or hope. But what we don't realize is that by holding on to the wrong people, we may be blocking the right ones from entering our lives. You can't open a new chapter if you're still rereading the last one. If someone treats you like an option, leave them like a choice. Respect yourself enough to walk away from those who only show up when it's convenient. Relationships, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, should never be one-sided. If you're the one always calling, checking in, giving, forgiving, trying, then you're not in a relationship. You're in a cycle of self-betrayal. You must learn this. Not everyone you lose is a loss. Some people exit your life as a blessing in disguise. Their absence creates space for healthier connections, for deeper self-understanding, for growth. The people who drain your energy, who make you feel small, who question your worth, those are not your people. Let them go gracefully, without anger, just distance. Because the right people, they don't require you to shrink to fit in. They celebrate your growth, not fear it. They won't guilt you into staying where you no longer belong. They love you in a way that feels light, not heavy, safe, not anxious, seen, not invisible. But to meet them, you must first create room. And that requires the courage to detach from what no longer serves you. You can't move forward while looking backward. You can't invite new energy while still entertaining what drains you. Growth often demands separation. Letting go is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's choosing peace over pressure. It's realizing that loyalty to others should never come at the cost of disloyalty to yourself. And here's the thing, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you accept, and what you walk away from. So walk boldly, even if it's alone. Because one day you'll look back and thank yourself for leaving what didn't feel right and walking toward what finally does. In a world that glorifies instant results, discipline is the silent force that separates the successful from the stagnant. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, it doesn't come with applause, but it is the quiet engine behind every long-term victory. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep, saying no when it's easier to say yes, staying consistent when motivation fades. Most people wait for motivation to strike, but discipline doesn't wait. It shows up even on the hard days, especially on the hard days. Success is never the result of a single big move. It's built brick by brick through daily habits, small choices compounded over time. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That's why winners focus on structure. They don't just dream big, they act small, repeatedly, relentlessly. The truth is, progress is slow. You won't see results tomorrow. You might not even see them next month. But every workout, every hour of focus, every difficult decision, it all adds up. Quitting won't speed it up. Complaining won't change the outcome. You either put in the work or you stay where you are. Delayed gratification is a superpower. The ability to resist temporary pleasure for lasting impact is what builds wealth, strength, wisdom, and freedom. The people who sacrifice a few years of comfort often buy themselves decades of success. Those who chase ease often remain stuck in discomfort forever. Persistence doesn't mean never failing. It means refusing to quit. You will fall, but you get back up. You will get tired, but you don't stop. The road will feel long, but you stay the course. And eventually the discipline that once felt difficult becomes your new normal. What once required effort becomes effortless. So next time you feel like giving up, remember why you started. Think of the life you're building, not just for today, but for your future self. Because the hardest step is often the one right before everything begins to change. Discipline may feel like restriction, but in truth, it is the greatest form of freedom. Not everything in your life needs to be shared. In a time where oversharing is the norm and validation is a currency, silence has become a luxury and privacy a form of strength. The less people know about your personal life, your thoughts, your moves, the more peace you preserve. It's not about secrecy, it's about boundaries. Your goals, your healing, your relationships, they don't need to be public to be valid. When you keep things private, you protect them from unnecessary judgment, envy, and interference. The world doesn't need a front row seat to every chapter of your journey. Some people only want to hear your plans so they can secretly hope you fail. Others will pretend to support you only to sabotage you in the background. That's why the strongest people often move in silence. They let their results do the talking. They build in quiet, and when they speak, it's with proof, not promises. Your peace should not be up for negotiation. If someone drains your energy, question their access to you. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. You don't have to explain your decisions to people who weren't there when you struggled. You don't owe anyone your vulnerability, especially if they haven't earned your trust. Protecting your peace also means managing what you consume, what you read, who you follow, what you watch. These things shape your mental space more than you realize. Guard your mind like you guard your home. Don't invite chaos in through the front door. Your environment matters too. A quiet space, a clear routine, and limited noise. These are not luxuries. They are necessities for clarity and focus. When your world is too loud, you can't hear your own intuition. And your intuition is often your greatest guide. Privacy gives you room to breathe, to reflect, to recalibrate. It lets you grow without pressure, heal without commentary, change without applause. And it reminds you that you are not a performance. You're a person, deserving of quiet joy and unseen victories. So choose peace over popularity. Choose clarity over chaos. Protect your energy like it's the rare, precious thing it is. Because once it's gone, you'll realize how much you needed it all along. One of the hardest things to learn in life is how to let go of people, expectations, pain, and the versions of ourselves that no longer serve us. But within that difficulty lies an immense power, freedom. When you stop clinging to what hurts, you make room for what heals. Letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. It means understanding that holding on to someone who doesn't value you doesn't prove your loyalty. It proves your fear of being alone. It means realizing that sometimes the closure you're waiting for won't come from them. It will come from you deciding you deserve peace more than explanations. Detachment is not the same as not caring. It's caring from a distance. It's knowing you can love someone and still choose yourself. It's knowing you can wish someone well without welcoming them back into your life. It's the quiet confidence that you don't need to chase what's not meant for you. There will be moments when walking away feels like failure. But staying where you're not valued is the real loss. You don't grow in comfort zones. You grow into when you're forced to rebuild, to rediscover who you are without the weight of what you were carrying. We often delay our healing because we're afraid of the unknown. We stay in toxic relationships, dead-end jobs, and unhealthy patterns because they're familiar. But comfort is not the same as happiness, and familiarity is not the same as fulfillment. Every goodbye teaches you something. Every closed door redirects you. And every moment you resist letting go, you extend your own suffering. Freedom begins the moment you say, "I don't need this to define me anymore." You don't have to erase the memories or pretend it never mattered. But you do have to move forward. Life will always make space for what's next, but only if you're brave enough to release what's behind. So take a breath, loosen your grip, and remind yourself, sometimes letting go is not the end, it's the beginning. Time is the most valuable currency you have. Unlike money, once it's gone, you can't earn it back. Every minute you spend is a choice, and your life becomes the sum of those choices. That's why understanding your priorities isn't just important, it's everything. No one is truly too busy. People make time for what matters to them. If they don't prioritize you, it's not about time, it's about value. The same goes for you. Stop saying yes to things that drain you. Every yes is a no to something else, often your peace, your focus, or your growth. Learning to say no is not rude. It's responsible. It's the boundary that protects your energy, your goals, and your future. You don't need to justify your decisions to everyone. You don't owe your time to people who wouldn't do the same for you. You also need to stop explaining your dreams to people who can't see your vision. Some people will never understand why you are working late, why you're staying in on weekends, or why you've changed your habits. That's okay. Your mission isn't for them, it's for you. We often feel guilted into people-pleasing, into attending every event, responding to every message, being available at all times. But this only leads to burnout and resentment. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you don't protect your time, others will take it for granted. Busyness doesn't equal productivity. You could fill every hour of your day and still feel unfulfilled if your actions don't align with your values. Being intentional about your time, your effort, your boundaries is what creates impact. Your time should reflect your goals. If it doesn't, either your goals aren't clear or your schedule needs to change. Audit your day. What are you doing that truly moves the needle? What are you doing out of habit, guilt, or obligation? You don't need to do more. You need to do what matters and do it well. So the next time you're faced with a request, a distraction, or a decision, ask yourself, does this align with the life I want to build? If the answer is no, say no. Because when you start honoring your time, you start honoring yourself. Life doesn't spare anyone from hardship, but the way you respond to that hardship, that's where your strength is forged. Some of the most powerful growth comes from the most painful chapters. Not because suffering is noble, but because survival reveals who you really are. Pain can crush you, or it can shape you. It can make you bitter, or it can make you wise. The difference lies in how you process it. Do you let it define your identity, or do you use it as fuel to rebuild? Every wound is a lesson. Every disappointment is redirection. When life falls apart, it's not the end. It's a test of your patience, your mindset, and your will to rise. And when you do rise, you become someone stronger than you were before you fell. Most people assume resilience is about toughness, about gritting your teeth and pushing through. But real resilience is quieter. It's waking up every day and choosing not to give up. It's showing up with tears in your eyes and a heart that still dares to hope. It's also learning that healing is not linear. Some days you'll feel strong. Other days you'll want to break. That's okay. Growth is messy. Strength is not the absence of struggle. It's your willingness to keep going despite it. The truth is, comfort rarely teaches you anything. It's in the chaos, in the heartbreak, the failure, the doubt, that you gain clarity. You realize what matters, who matters, and who you are when no one's watching. You don't get stronger by avoiding pain. You get stronger by facing it with honesty, with courage, with the belief that this moment will not last forever. So if you're in a dark place, hold on. If you're in a hard season, breathe through it. The storm is shaping you, not destroying you. One day you'll look back and realize that what nearly broke you became the reason you rebuilt. And when that happens, you'll understand this simple truth. You are not your pain. You are what you choose to become despite it. In a world that constantly urges us to want more, achieve more, and be more, it's easy to forget that the richest moments in life are often the simplest. Gratitude is not just a reaction, it's a choice. And when you choose to see what you already have, everything shifts. You don't need a perfect life to feel content. You need perspective, the ability to pause and realize that the things you once prayed for are now a part of your everyday. The roof over your head, the people who check on you, the quiet mornings. They are not small. They are everything. When you start appreciating the ordinary, it becomes extraordinary. You begin to understand that happiness isn't hidden in the next purchase, the next milestone, or the next escape. It's in the now, in the breath you're taking, the sun on your skin, the silence between two laughs. Simplicity doesn't mean lack. It means clarity. It's about removing the noise, the clutter, and the false urgency. It's about asking yourself what actually matters, and then living by that answer. It's not easy because society teaches us to measure our worth by how much we accumulate. But the truth is, the more you simplify, the freer you become. Gratitude also builds resilience. When you focus on what you have, not what you lack, your mindset shifts from scarcity to abundance. You begin to realize that life owes you nothing, and yet it's already given you so much. This shift in thinking is powerful. It lowers anxiety, increases joy, and deepens your relationships. You stop expecting people to fill your cup because you've learned how to fill it yourself. Make it a habit to count blessings, not burdens, to say thank you, even on the hard days, to celebrate the little wins that often go unnoticed, because over time, those little things will become the foundation of a big, meaningful life. And most importantly, realize this: a grateful heart doesn't just change your outlook, it changes your outcome. When you lead with appreciation, life has a way of giving you more to appreciate. So slow down, simplify, and give thanks. Not because everything is perfect, but because your awareness of the present moment is. That's where fulfillment lives. That's where peace begins.